Hey, welcome to the show. I'm Yanni Root.
And I'm just Terrell. You ever been out somewhere and overheard two people having crazy conversations?
Yeah, well, we are those people. We've been having these conversations since college.
Yep, it's the Regular Guys Random Thoughts podcast. Love is Blind, Season 7, DC, recap of episodes 7 through 9. Be sure to like, subscribe, rate, and leave a review.
We had to go ahead and do this one today, right? There's a lot happening, and we're like, hey, we got to get this out today, man, because it's only 3 episodes that dropped this time. But like Kessie says, these episodes were half as many, but twice as messy as the first rollout. There was a lot that happened in these 3 episodes, man.
It was. I wasn't expecting a lot of what we saw.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept texting you as after I watched one, I'm like, can you believe this?
I'm like, yeah, I've watched it. I can believe it. No, there's so much to get to, man. Let's not even mess around. Episode 7, let's go ahead and start with this crazy couple. Hannah and Nick. Oh, I thought I clicked them. There we go. Now, Nick says, when this thing all begins, he says he needs to work on not being too selfish. And Hannah says, hey, I could work on being nicer too. So a little self-reflection with these two. Agreed?
Agreed. At least you own it. Admitting it is the first step.
Mm-hmm.
Now, actively trying to change it.
Yeah, well,
That's something different.
That can make things a little different. Hey, Lisa says, I'm still watching episode 9. Hurry up! Because spoiler alert, it's coming. Spoiler alert, it's coming.
Yeah.
Now, Hannah and Nick also went on in episode 7 to go bungee jumping. I thought they spent a lot of time showing this. It was like a lot of filler on this bungee jump, because after they showed one, they could have shown the other one go bam, back up and done. But no, they spent a lot of time there, didn't they?
They did, but I've never bungee jumped. And I've always wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So I just thought it looked really fun for me.
Yeah. I'm never bungee jumping.
Never say never. You said you would never jump out of a good airplane.
Yeah.
You've done that.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely right. Hey, Lisa's like, she's going to finish up episode 9. Be right back. I feel you. Finish it up, because that is the highlight of this, and we're gonna there's so much to get to at the end of episode 9, so we'll get to that. And I see the comments already rolling in, and we'll get to those too, and especially Tommy, appreciate you, thank you for the super chat, and we definitely getting to that. We're gonna get to that, but I'm not gonna pull it up there yet until we get to that portion of it, right? After Hannah and Nick, we did get to see probably one of our favorite couples right now, Marissa and Ramses. They go sailing on a yacht, and we find out how much Marissa really loves boats.
Right. She's a Navy person. She's a seaman. There's a lot that she's done on boats. I like how she said that if she can, drive those battleships?
Yeah, warship.
She could probably drive the yacht. Or, good. I thought it was great. Ramses didn't seem as excited about being on the boat as Marissa did, in my opinion. But I think Marissa's always just happy and excited about things. Maybe I'm just making an assumption.
When he's like, be careful, he's like, I got sea legs. Hold up.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing here. But you didn't have sea legs and heels. Let's get that straight. There's a difference. Let's be real here. Hey, Michelle says, came here to like the podcast, and now I'm going to watch. See you later. Yes, make sure you watch the episodes. Come on back. If you can't be part of the live crew, you can be part of the replay gang. But everybody, do us a favor while you're in here. Hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you can know when we go live. Okay? And shout out to Dorica, who's listening in while she's driving. Yeah.
I was about to say, she's at work.
Another couple here that we didn't have a lot of hope for these two, man, especially after episode 6. But Alex and Tim decided to stay, and maybe it's because the producers threatened him, and he's like, all right, I'll stick around. But Alex claims she didn't know how upset Tim was until he told her. You believe her?
Well, I do. I mean, this is their first blow up, and maybe she didn't think it was a big deal.
Right.
And not really understanding how it impacted Tim. And so once, they're their anger goes down. They can actually have a conversation and listen to each other. I'm glad that, Tim chose to forgive her and is willing to put it behind him and move forward. I still really want to know what was said. Like, what was the thing that was said that really ticked Tim off? I don't know, but curious.
Yeah, because, well, we know. She probably called him, like they said in the last episode, a BAN. So that could have done it.
That's what we're thinking.
Call you out your name? But anyway, they resolved things by going ATV riding, right? And when they got to that bridge, that is when either the ride would have stopped or we'd have turned that joker around and gone right back, because I have acrophobia. I know Tim says he has it too. He says he doesn't mess with heights, but he drove over that thing. There's no way. I'm not walking over it, running over it, crawling over it, or driving over it. You're crazy.
Conquer your fears. You don't look down. Just look straight. That's where you're going. That's what he did. Good for him. You should try it.
Where's the fun in that?
Where's the fun in conquering your fears?
Where's the fun in driving?
How much fun was skydiving that you were scared of? That was fun, wasn't it?
There's a difference. I love planes. I just
Conquer
never
fear.
thought I would love jumping out of them.
Yeah. Well, you conquered a fear there. That's what was fun about it.
Yeah.
So for Tim, driving over that bridge, symbolic.
There is no way that I'm doing that. I'm sorry. No way. But they have a great convo after they get over that bridge. And, it's even Alex in that. Well, I guess I really trust you after that. I put my life in your hands. Because think about this. One wrong turn. That little rope wasn't holding him up there. If he just, a little bit. Imagine if you're driving, you're halfway over, you're going, 5-10 miles an hour. You get a little itch. A little twitch kicks in.
Yeah, then it's over. It's a wrap. There's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. It's a wrap. Can't stress over that.
Okay, yeah, there you go. All right, Ashley and Tyler. And so much to get to with these two, man, because this was my pick, my Tiffany and Brett.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why you don't pick your Super Bowl winner in the preseason.
Yeah.
We're going to get to these.
You pulled the Dallas Cowboys move. We're going to the ship. We're going to the Super Bowl.
So now this is what it feels. When we get to episode 9, we'll find out what it feels like to be a Cowboys fan. Good point.
Exactly.
But in the meantime, before that, while they're still in Mexico, and things are still all great, they go camel riding. Ashley says she can see herself marrying Tyler and that she doesn't think she'll ever find another man like him.
Yeah. It's so hard.
It's
when you've
really
watched
hard
all 3 episodes, it's hard. But let me get my mind right.
Yeah,
in episode 7, that makes sense. I thought that they seemed to be the strongest of the group. They talked about starting their own traditions for the holidays and all these. I mean, they're really talking about building a family together and kids and everything else. So I'm feeling, at this point, really good about this couple.
Shantae says I really like them. And I can tell because she said this earlier today, I also watched part of episode 9. And she didn't get to the other part. We're going to get to it. I like them too.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you, Shantae. Now, here's something that they talk a lot about a lot of things, the traditions, everything, but they also had a lot to talk about kids as well too, right? And before we move on to the next couple, I just want to address this comment here from She Likes to Tweet, who says, is it just me or is the caliber of women this season kind of low? I don't get that. I don't
think so.
I think this is a very attractive group of women, and you have women in this group that actually have a lot going on for them. I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but also you got to put it in perspective. We're talking about the caliber of women that are going to go on a reality dating show on Netflix. There's a difference.
Paris, I like that comment. I'm going to save that one for later because we're going to need that. All right, let's keep moving, man. Next couple up here, and we've seen a lot of comments about these two already so far in the live chat. Shout out to the live crew. Hey, don't forget, you're here in the live crew. Go ahead and hit that like button. If you're on the replay gang and you got to this point, hit that like button for us, please. Monica and Steven. Monica brings up the fact that Steven said in the pods that he was going to get her flowers. Now, here's the thing that at that moment I went, oh yeah, he forgot because he's into all these actions, everything, completely forgot about everything. But then she says her love language is words of affirmation. Mm-hmm. That's number one, right? Acts of service. Mm-hmm. That's number two, right? He's given her words of affirmation, hasn't he?
He has.
And he's done anything she wanted. So the acts of service, right?
Right.
So if gifts is number three, has it got to be the trifecta, tic-tac-toe, in order for this thing to work?
Well, here's how I interpret love languages.
Okay.
There's a way that I receive love, and there's a way that my partner receives love. I don't receive love through gifts.
Right.
And so if you get me gifts, I'm not all that excited about it. And I wouldn't think that I need to do that for you. But Steven here has to think to himself, okay, if that's what motivates her, I'm going to have to do these things, even though I might not like it or I might not want to, but you gotta do it. I still think Monica is being a little picky, but also here's the reality, ladies. We say a lot of things in the beginning to get you. Yeah, we'll do this. Yeah, I'll go do this.
Yeah, I'll watch anything you want.
Yeah, I'll watch anything you want. Yeah, you want to go to a costume party dressed up as what? That sounds so fun. Yes, babe, I'll do that. We do all that until we get you. And then once we got you, we're like, yeah, I ain't doing that shit. So I think Steven said a lot in the pods to get her to say yes to him.
You know he said a lot.
He said a lot. And so now she's just kind of bringing it all up. But I think his love language is not gifts. He doesn't really, get into that. And he even talks about it, that, for Christmas, they don't really do that. She just seems needy. And I bet that's kind of pressing on Steven in this conversation.
Kessie says the flowers are metaphor.
For more flowers? Because she's pretty specific that she wants flowers.
Not only about flowers, she's very specific about a lot of things, right? Because their tastes are so off. As he's trying to, about the gifts, I may not get you something, top quality like Kate Spade. She's like, oh, don't you ever get me a Kate Spade. Because that's bottom of the barrel, the Monica, right? She's more of a YSL gal,
Oh, so YSL's better than Kate Spade?
Yeah, it's Young Slime Life. Young Thug and them. No, Yves Saint Laurent.
Yeah. I don't know about all that.
But that conversation makes Steven realize, hey, marriage is a lot. And he doesn't want to feel forced into something, right? All of a sudden, and you can see this is going to be a problem because she's like, wait, what do you mean you're second guessing here?
Right. He slipped and said that.
You're right.
Yeah, he slipped and said, if I'm having second thoughts, you never say that. I've never been engaged, but one thing I do know is if I ever do get engaged, I can't have a conversation and go, hey, babe, so let's say I'm having second thoughts about the wedding. I think this was a little bit of a freak out moment for Steven because he all but broke out into tears.
Yo, that was funny. But she's like, are you okay? Are you about to cry like a little
BAN? Well, I guess we can call him a BAN now. He's kind of.
At least 2/5 of him. Now, Monica's saying, not that Monica, this Monica, is saying that he said he gave flowers in the pod. Happy Garden says Monica's telling her love language is words of affirmation, acts of service, and gifts. She doesn't make him guess. So if she tells you, she's telling you how she needs to be. To your point of, hey, that may not be mine, but she told you what hers are. These are my top three. And even though number three obviously means more, it's inverted. So you got to turn it the other way and realize that gifts. Because when it comes to those gifts that he didn't know, and like Mimi says, Kate Spade was hilarious because he thought, man, it's something expensive like Kate Spade. And she's like, don't you ever get me that shit.
Well, but here's my thought. This is where I give Steven a pass. I think buy her flowers when you're back in D.C. You're still in Mexico.
Yeah.
Am I going to buy you flowers just so they can sit in the hotel room and leave them.
And you know the flowers at the resort expensive as hell. Stop it.
Right. So I'm just like, why not? Yeah, I'm going to get you flowers. But when we get back to D.C., because then you can enjoy them longer. We leave tomorrow. So why would I get you a bunch of roses and you're just going to leave them in the hotel?
Yeah, you can't take it back. But you
can't take them on. Can't put them on your carry-on.
Rationally 32 says, just buy the girl some flowers. See? Now, here's where we get into the brands. I knew the ladies would do this, okay? Lisa Craig says, Kate Spade is a step above Michael Kors. So what? Michael Kors is no longer good, huh, ladies?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not materialistic, so I don't know.
Oh, so if you like a brand that makes it materialistic?
I can hardly say that with a straight face. I am materialistic a little bit.
Oh, we know.
Just a little bit.
So here's the difference. Here's the difference to understand what's happening. Shante says she wants a $3,000 bag. He's talking about a $500 purse.
Okay. God, people spend $3,000 on a bag. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That's a mortgage payment. I just don't get it.
Yeah, that's not even. Man. Oh, Rationally 32 says they sell Michael Kors at Walmart.
Well, there you go.
Michael Kors is a no. So,
I feel bad.
Hey, this is LOD says, look, I've been getting my bags at Target and Amazon, so I couldn't tell you.
Has Michael Kors always been bad? Because I bought someone I was dating years ago, probably 5-6 years ago, a Michael Kors watch.
And how soon after that did she break up with you? Because that probably answers the question. Stephanie says Steven likely could have asked production for flowers. He could have.
Well, hey, player, can I get a couple flowers from you? I'm in
a
little hot water over here. Are you hearing this? Can I get some flowers?
Hook a brother up. Jesus. Cassie says, no, Monica was being a little annoying with it. Tell a man once, then wait a bit for action. Then mention it again later when he's had a chance to prove himself.
But give him a few days.
Something.
Don't tell me at 9 a.m. and then at 3 p.m. going, we talked about this.
As a DJ, I can tell you that's today's microwave society. Hey, can I hear such and such? All right. You play another song. Hey, you didn't play my song. Mother. It was 2 minutes ago. What is wrong with you? Okay. All right, let's move on. Couples get together, right? And it's like the last night get together. Yeah. Alex tells Monica and Ashley about Tim packing up and how he was ready to leave. And as she's getting into the meat of the story, the fireworks go off and everybody went, squirrel, and disappeared, except Stephen and Garrett would stay behind to finish their convo.
Right. They were in the middle of a deep conversation.
What was it?
I don't know what it was about, but everybody went to go look at it. But they're in the middle of a conversation, and apparently that pissed off Monica.
Yeah. She definitely wasn't feeling that because she called him a couple times and he still never came out there. And so when she comes back, fireworks over, she gets very sarcastic. Oh, Stephen, that was so romantic.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like that lowbrow. Oh, it was so romantic out there. The way you held me while we watched the fireworks. Mm-hmm. I wasn't out there. Exactly.
Yeah.
But then she does that fake, love you. I hate the way she says it. Love you. It just sounds fake.
Well,
that you don't really love him. Love you.
The interesting thing to me is how she tells Ashley, Taylor, Alex, and Hannah that everything Steven is doing is pissing her off. And I can see this in her face. I noticed in this episode especially that anytime she's with him and she's looking at him, she's analyzing and going, trust the process. Trust the process.
But I didn't like how she's telling everyone that Steven is so scared of me.
Yeah.
And the way her attitude is in this particular moment, mm-hmm. I'm starting to see why she's single.
Why?
Because I mean, what dude want to put up with that? Because here's the thing, and you and I kind of talked about this on the phone last night. I think the issue with Monica is she's with Steven. She knows she's better than Steven. She brings way more to the table than what Steven does. Yeah. Thus, she's got to talk to him crazy like that.
Yeah.
If she was with a man who was her equal or even equal education, career status, financial status, I don't think she would act like this.
Yeah. No, but that's probably true. That's probably true. Now, there are a number of people, like Trinity Divine says Monica was out of line. Tommy says Monica was hurt. She likes to tweet, says Monica's demeanor is exhausting, which is what you just pretty much said for anybody that is of equal or greater financial stature than she has. Zero Bree Roll says Monica was annoying AF in that moment. And this is LOD says, hold up, though. It's un-American to ignore fireworks.
Facts.
I can't stand fireworks.
But they weren't in America. They weren't in America, so they get a pass. They weren't in America, so love yeah.
Yeah. Steven comes over, joins the conversation. Are we good? Are we good? And then he gets comfortable. And this is where things go wrong almost immediately, right? You can see he starts to drop some breadcrumbs because he talks about being on the show, right? Yeah. And the minute he says about, well, if you get chosen for the show, Monica rolls her eyes. And if you don't remember that moment, go back to episode 7, look at it, and look at the look on her face. She's like, oh, Jesus, here we go again. So apparently it's not the first time she's heard this. But then he goes on about being in a situation you've never been in before and the temptations that may come.
Right. Except he didn't word it that eloquently as you did. So that's his other problem is it was inappropriate to have that type of conversation in front of Taylor and all the other ladies. And you're embarrassing Monica. And then also you're kind of throwing Garrett under the bus because you're telling Taylor Garrett has some things he really needs to talk about.
Right.
He had some stuff he really needed to get off his chest. It's been rude. Part. Yes. It'd been rude if I walked away. So Taylor's probably thinking, well, what did Garrett need to tell you? Exactly.
That was kind of wild. By the way, Cassie says the home wreckers are everywhere. Run. Yes, they are. Do you notice, though, as he's going on and on about this uncomfortable conversation around a bunch of women, not only does Monica get up and go, oh, my God, he just pisses me off, but everybody else got up from that conversation except Taylor.
Right.
And I'm like, this man's about to destroy Garrett's relationship.
No, he goes back talking about himself until Taylor's just like, Yeah, because he just keeps talking and talking and talking.
You can see even when they got back to the room, Monica's just like trying to convince herself. Trust the process. Trust the process. Next day, everybody leaves, heads back to D.C., and we get back to D.C. Let's get to some of these couples back in here, like Hannah and Nick, right? They're talking about stuff to do around the house. Did you like this convo and how this was going?
No, not really. Let's just say, in this moment, no, I didn't like it. Because Hannah said that she thinks Nick's the type that needs to be told to do something or he won't do it.
Right.
She even said that she's more mature than him. And I was hoping that was a joke. And then she asked, well, can you mount a TV? I'm like, why is mounting a TV so important?
Yeah. Apparently, it's a big deal in reality TV.
I guess.
You know what? I may not be able to mount a TV, but I can pay somebody who can.
Yeah, I've mounted a TV. Do I want to do it regularly as a part-time job? No. Yeah. I've done it once. Check box. I don't need to do it again.
Hey, so much, Karen. I noticed this too, Karen. When you notice, I don't remember if it was this episode or later, but she's cleaning up too many paper towels. There's no way she's cleaning that much stuff.
Yeah,
I did notice that. The other thing, Hannah says that she's an independent, need her space kind of gal, right? So you already kind of see where this is going.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem good. Like, I'm still skeptical of this couple. So I have to learn more about Nick and see what they're like when they're in DC.
Now, Monica and Steven, let's get back to these two because they get in the apartment and Steven is so impressed with this place. Like, oh my God. I mean, like, these are reviews you only see on Instagram.
This me? Is this me? All this? I mean, there's a lot of nice apartments out there, but I think once you've seen one, you kind of seen them all. I wonder where he lived and what his place looks like that he's that excited about that apartment.
He has not seen ceiling to floor windows before. Okay? That man was impressed. He was impressed. And this is the moment I start thinking, is he thinking that maybe, just maybe, he doesn't deserve this? Because Monica is just like, whatever. This is my back room.
Yeah.
He's like, we have a kitchen nook.
Yes, we have a nook.
We have a couch, a carpet.
Is this an island? Like an island?
Does it have running water? Oh my God, it does. Like what the hell? Yeah, at a breakfast table? Like what the? It's nuts. Now, Shante says Steven acts like he lives in a trailer park. He does. Even though, to be fair, having done radio remotes at different mobile homes, there's some nice ones. I wouldn't want to live in one, but there's some nice ones. Yo, J. Rose says, I'm concerned about Steven because, wow, sir, you okay?
Yeah.
Nuts. It's nuts. But next couple that we get to here, and Taylor and Garrett, right? Mm-hmm. They decide that they're going to look at each other's socials. Good idea, bad idea, indifferent.
I think it's a good idea. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a fun thing. Hey, we got our phones or devices. Let's look at our social media, just kind of see what we're working with. Did you notice Taylor's sweatshirt? I actually liked her sweatshirt.
What
it said, I'm not down.
Okay.
Which I've used those words. I'm like, that makes perfect sense. But I thought it was cool. And what we find out is Garrett's social media is all fish pics and videos. Mm-hmm. Because I think for Taylor, she looked at Garrett's social media and she sees that he's following all these different women on Instagram that are not just like females. They're like, they put stuff out there purposefully, content. And he's following all those. She might think something about him
differently, but yeah, he says, this is all I do. I work and I fish. That's it. And hashtag the best catch of all. And they're like, yeah, so we have used that for the wedding. No, I'm just kidding. No, seriously, let's do that.
Yeah, write that down.
Trinity Divine says, Captain America and Olivia Munn. I see what you did there, and I get it. I get what you did. But since he likes fish so much, maybe we should call him Aquaman. Makes sense. No,
Captain America.
All right. Kessie says, Taylor's so beautiful. I'm sorry. And High Vibe, I love Taylor's wit. Yeah, because I thought they have some really cute moments. I like their interaction. You said they were your Tiffany and Brett, even though people in the live chat have already said, how about we just no longer call anybody Tiffany and Brett anymore?
Well, I already called it, so I can't take it back now. I already said it, so let's see what happens.
Well, have you ever done something and you had to take it back?
No.
Damn liar. Hey, so they go to meet Garrett's family, his mom, his dad, his sister, niece, and nephew. And I thought it was interesting as they're meeting, and especially when Garrett made sure to drop certain gems to impress the family and show that, oh no, this is a smart woman right here. And even when it gets down to the chemistry, but still cool because she's a bartender, right? She can bartend. And then my favorite line is Taylor saying, yeah, the only time I use my chemistry degree is making drinks and dating Garrett.
Yeah. I mean, I like his family dynamic. I mean, they seem like a really close-knit family. Mm-hmm. They have Sunday dinners together. Mm-hmm. You know, that's awesome. I didn't grow up with that where we all got together every Sunday. Even when we moved out of the house. When we were kids, we did. Mm-hmm. But when we moved out of the house, we didn't. So I think that's really cool they do that. They asked Taylor about her parents not wanting to be a part of the process. So I was curious about that. And I was thinking they didn't want to be a part of the process, but come to find out, they just don't want to be on camera.
Yeah. And
they don't want the cameras coming to their home.
Right.
Which I totally respect that.
Totally agree. Here's the thing, because a lot of people are saying, like Rationally 32 says, I love Garrett's family. This is LOD says his family's house looked nice. However, she likes to tweet, says, Garrett's mom looked very judgy. And I thought I was the only person that saw that. So thank you, she likes to tweet, because that's exactly what I saw. That woman was judging all, but she was also not just quietly judging. She was saying it out loud as well, too, right? And the whole, it seems just kind of fast. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. No, not because either one of you, actually, but more so him than you, because I don't know you. And she's going through this over and over again. And even the sister starts to jump in and say, well, she's backing up the mom. Well, it is kind of like you're setting deadlines. did they not know what the process was?
Exactly. And I agree with Casey here, is that I don't think the mom was judging. I think she's just scared for her son. I mean, you look at his parents who did it the traditional way are looking at their son go through this process that's rapid fire, light speed, and you're about to get married and you have to plan all this stuff. They understand how hard that is. So they're just scared for their son.
But even they said, because everybody agreed, there's no way they would have met in the real world. Because it'd be like, if they met and they're like, oh my God, I really like you. All right, when are you free next? Let's go out. Okay, in a month. That would be jacked up, right?
Right.
So this time he gets to meet someone, and maybe they just feel like, and I get it. As a parent, you want to overprotect, right? And they're probably thinking he's jumping out the window on this one because he hasn't really had a lot of, But
yeah.
Before we get to Marissa and Ramses, I just had to point this out because when I saw it, I thought of you as we got to that point. Ashley and Tyler and the Bedtime Prayer. Thoughts?
Well, Tyler's obviously an awesome guy. He's a praying man. And I think that's really important. I think it's really important. I mean, the guy prays. Ashley loves it. As of this moment in episode 7, Tyler's amazing. Hey, nothing like a good praying man, right? So,
all praying mantis. By the way, I want to point this out real quick, just because. But it comes back from Taylor and Garrett. I just want to point this real quick because She Likes Sweet says it's giving. He's never brought a non-white over. He said that before. He's only dated white women. Remember Garrett said that?
Yeah, he did. But I mean, Taylor is. I get that she's mixed nationality?
Yeah.
But it's not like, someone fresh from China that doesn't know the language, right? I mean,
daddy's Quantavious.
It's a big difference, right? Yeah, he's not bringing Shaquitha over. It's just different.
Because that would be a whole different reaction.
Yeah, I want to see his parents handle that. Hey, this is Shaquitha. We met in the pods.
I love her. We're getting married tomorrow. I love her.
She's amazing.
Are you on drugs, boy?
just saying, it's different.
It is different. I agree with you. Marissa and Ramses. These two, man. Talk about the wedding. They agree that Ramses will be a groomzilla. And we find out that Marissa doesn't want anybody of any other race at her wedding. She wants a black wedding.
She wants an all-black weddings, and people wear all black, not only black people at the weddings. That means her mom couldn't come.
Touche.
Yeah.
Okay, good point. Well, next time we see them, Ramses is obviously prepping for his role of house husband, right? And and Marissa being of the horny worker who's sending sexy pics on the way home in that 2-hour DC traffic. Anybody who's lived in DC, I remember when I was working on my master's, right? There was a guy who was like, he sat in traffic so long in DC that he got to the house and was like, "Honey, we're moving," and they moved down to South Carolina because he's like, "I'm not doing this again." Like 2.5, 3 hours in traffic. He's like, "I'm not doing it again. We're done. We're moving." So she's sending him these sexy texts. She gets to the house, gets a taste of what life is going to be like. And it's obviously going to be uncooked pasta.
Well, as Marissa says, the noodles are al dente. I looked at it. I had to replay it. I hit rewind. Did she just say al dente?
Yes.
I mean, for her, I'm just surprised that she said that it's al dente. It's not al dente. And I think even Ramses picked up on it. He's like, she goes, "Yeah, that's how it's pronounced." And he was just like, noted.
Yeah, they were terrible. But, there was so much more that happened besides that mispronunciation and the confidence in that mispronunciation.
Confidence.
They started talking about religion, and then they went into military service. I was like, this is a heavy conversation. And then you realize why, because it seemed super long. I'm like, why are we staying in this? And we find out why. This is a deep conversation.
Well, I think it was a bad editing job because you couldn't really tell how it escalated, like how it got to this point about her military service. And so apparently Ramses has his viewpoint of the military. Marissa, even though she was in the military and she's a veteran, I'd even put her to say proud veteran, but there's some things about the military she doesn't like and all that. And as she's talking about that, Ramses is saying, yeah, but you signed up for that.
Right.
Which to me is, I get where he's coming from, but I'm an Air Force brat myself. I'm just like, dude, just shut up. Some people sign up for the military. They might not realize, even though they are, right? But the way I look at it, when you sign up for the military, you are saying that I'm willing to give my life for the United States. Now, you might not know that, and that might not be your goal or your motivation, but that's really what it is. And the fact that someone signed up to say they would do that is huge because so many of us wouldn't. So I just have a different level of respect for people that sign up for the military the way Ramses seems to be judging them.
Because you sign up knowing that it is very possible. Even they say, I'm only doing one tour. I'm only going in for 4 years. Year 1, year 2, year 3, or maybe even year 4, we could go to war. And if that's the case, you going too. So you're right to that point. But like she likes to tweet, says, I really appreciate the convo they were having about military and ethics. Both perspectives had valid points. Because but this is what you signed up for it. Now, to his point, you signed up for it. You weren't drafted. It wasn't mandatory. You didn't have to go. You chose to. And we find out from her that, hey, this is all I've known. I've been on military bases since I was 2. I've been around this life. So for some people, that'll be enough to get the hell away from it as soon as you can. But for her, it was to dive in even more. This is the life I know. This is the life. She'd just gotten out. So for her, it's like, the thing I didn't like is the fact that you're kind of tossing away what she's done.
Right.
I don't think his points are invalid. Because he's right, but you're bringing the politics into it. And some people in the military, when you're in the military, you can't worry about the politics of the person at the top. Because when they say jump, you say how high. Well, the only way he disagrees is if they say drop and give me 50, you give 51.
Right. But I understand his principle. And I'm not saying that he's wrong for feeling the way he feels about the military. It's your right as an American to do that. But if you're with somebody who's a veteran, that's not the person you have that conversation with because you're going to make yourself look stupid. And I think that's what he did here. I get where he's coming from, and he has a right to feel that way. I totally understand. But you don't have that conversations with veterans because of everything she did. It just doesn't make sense.
Rationally 32 agrees with you. Said I didn't like how he made her feel judged, which he did. He really did. Mimi says, plenty people sign up not knowing everything that will happen behind the scenes. Yes. And that's why we should all read the fine print. We don't. And then we act surprised when they say, no, you're stuck in a 5-year contract. Yeah, I'm not.
But they still signed up. They still signed up. That to me is the awesome thing that you still did it. Right? So a lot of people think I'm going to go military. I'm going to station in Hawaii. I'm going to get my bachelor's. I'm going to do this. And I'll get out in 8 years. Maybe.
Not always.
But if we go to war, there's a reason why they're training you how to shoot. Yeah. There's a reason.
It's not for home defense. It's for country defense.
It's not for your house. It's just in case. You automatically know how to do it.
Happy Gardner says she pointed out that her mom told her to sign up. She grew up poor and the Navy was her ticket. That's the case for many people. Very true.
Could be.
Was college or military? Which one are you going to do because you're getting the hell out of my house? Some people, that's what it is. So after this, we get into episode 8, right? And first one up, Ashley and Tyler. Now, Tyler wants to be involved in the planning of the wedding. Ashley says, hey, I welcome your opinions. But it's every woman's dream to plan the wedding.
Fair. I think that's fair.
Is it fair that she doesn't want him to help with the naming of the kids too?
No. That's the thing. I say it's fair about the wedding. The name of the kids is one thing.
Yeah.
And I do agree with the thought process that the guy names the boys, the woman names the girls. But I think you still got to have a bit of opinion because if she wants to name the girl something weird, you got to say, hey, babe, do you realize when she's in that elementary school, 5th grade, middle school years where they start picking on each other. This name is not going to work out.
Right.
You got to understand the long game of it.
Now, they get to go meet Ashley's dad, Dixon. Brought him the exact bourbon whiskey he wanted. And did you know that Ashley is his one and only daughter?
Did I know that?
Yeah, he told us like 42 times.
Oh, yeah. Well, it is. But is it just me? Did he look like an old R. Kelly? Her dad looks like an old version of R. Kelly to me.
Yeah.
Not the creepy one.
Not the creepy one? Shantae says I like her father. Yeah, I liked it though. I liked the way they had. I thought this whole thing went. Ashley leaves the table. Tyler asks her dad for permission to marry her, and he says yes, because, and I'll tell you why. Because she accepted you, and she doesn't make decisions lightly. That's important, right?
For later. It's important.
When Ashley comes back to the table, very emotional moment. I thought this was great. I can only imagine as a girl dad, I can only imagine how that man felt in that moment, and it really kicks in. So,
thank you, Happy Gardner. You agree? I'm not the only one that saw old R. Kelly in Mr. Dixon.
Moving on to Hannah and Nick. We're coming to find out Nick lives at home. They get to go see the house. No one's home. Felt kind of weird that they went to go look at the house when nobody else was there but the cat. And apparently, did you notice Nick's parents have a thing for pineapples?
They do, but I was looking at that. They're not upside down. Mm-hmm. But I was just thinking at first when I saw the pineapples, I was thinking, oh, okay. What are they into in this house? This is going to be interesting. I really didn't like this whole part, to be honest, because
Why?
I don't understand why you go onto a reality dating show to marry somebody when you live in the basement at your parents' house.
He explained why. He was on the football journey.
He explained why, because he liked it. He liked being there, and he enjoys it. Mm-hmm. But it just bothered me. So he's been in the basement for 2 years, and before that he was upstairs in his old room. But you're 28. And then he said that when they get married, she can just move in here. And she's like, no, you're going to move into my apartment. I'm not moving into your parents' basement. But why would you even, I just don't get that.
Well, that man has been babied, and that's obvious. Before we even meet his parents, we know this. And if we didn't know that just by what they said at the house, when they got back to the apartment, they're discussing household duties. We know Hannah's neater and cleaner than Nick. Uses way too many paper towels, but still neat and clean. And then she's also more financially intelligent.
Yeah.
And now we understand why she said she's more mature. Jeez.
Yeah. I mean, she is. I get it, because Nick seems really lost when it comes to that. His comment about investing in stocks doesn't make money. I was thinking to myself, Nick, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard anyone say.
Yeah.
But Hannah said that she spends $300 a week on groceries. Mm-hmm. What are you eating?
A lot.
Just $300 a week on groceries, and I don't spend that much for myself. I mean, I might do $300 in a month, and I live alone. But $300 a week on groceries?
Yeah, it's a lot. But she's also it feels financially responsible, right? Which he's obviously not, and he also is not a good decision maker, because every question she asked, well, what do you think we should do? Well, what do you think? Well, what would you like to do?
Yeah.
Lucy B says Whole Foods. Shantae says she must buy all organic.
I don't know. I think her groceries have a little crack at the bottom or something. little cocaine. That's just a lot of money on groceries.
Rationally 32 figured it out. Hey, $300 a week factored in paper towels makes sense.
I stay stocked on paper towels. They're not that expensive.
Jay
I don't know
Blake
what
says
she's
she likes to eat.
buying. But here's the crazy thing about Nick. And so I think we get a chance to get a glimpse of why she's picked on him so much. Because this dude lives at his parents' house, lives in the basement. His parents pay his car insurance, and they pay his phone bill.
Yeah.
And he's 28.
Yeah. And he's like, well, as long as they're going to keep paying the phone bill, why would I get off of theirs?
Well, that's the problem.
That is a big problem. Now we realize why she said she was the mature one.
Right.
I'm turning on Hannah. Well, I guess I'm turning on Nick and going to
Yeah.
Hannah's side because she was. Marissa and Ramses go to meet Marissa's friends, and you can see the concern on their faces the moment the military comes up, when they talk about the disagreement.
And this is the thing that bothers me about Ramses, because Marissa told him that a lot of her friends are military or veterans.
Mm-hmm.
So Ramses talking about the military thing and said, and they made a comment, what if she went back into the military? Would he divorce her? And he's like, yes. And he feels the problem for him is they would have different moral values. He just doesn't seem to like military people and doesn't realize that her friend is also a veteran. Mm-hmm. So that's my issue with him. I get your point, but you got to pick your moments.
But to be fair, he said, look, even if she said her friends, if she has a bunch of friends who are Trump supporters, that was his way of testing to see where they stood. Because if their back straightened up and their face tightened up, he'd have been like, gotcha. He said, but if y'all were if her friends are Trump supporters, I'm gonna at least think they're good people because they're her friends. I'm not worried about the politics of it.
I get it, but he still needs to understand to read the room and pick your moments.
Yeah, okay, that's true. I like that they're both open though to teaching their kids each other's aspects and train of thoughts, but then allowing them to make their own decisions.
Well, I don't think Ramses would be okay with his kid going to the military.
He said it's their choice.
He said that. And Steven said he'd buy flowers, right? So, yeah.
Touche. Alex and Tim, they go to meet. Alex's family's coming over. She's gonna meet his dad, her brothers. What's that? That was the mom-in-law, right? The mother-in-law.
No, that's her mom.
That's her mom.
Yeah, I don't think her parents are still together.
Because and the reason I asked it because she said before she said mother-in-law and no, she said stepmom, and then when she got there she goes, it's so special to have both of you here, and I'm like, well, that can't be the stepmom because apparently, I mean,
right.
Okay,
I think
so
that was her
mom.
parents, but I think they're together because the mom said that she hasn't seen the dad in a while.
Right. Okay, that's a good point. So I like how Tim cooks. He comes inside, but it's kind of weird that nobody goes to say hi to him while he's outside cooking. They just leave him outside by himself cooking, and they're all sitting inside in the AC, right? But when he comes in, I like how he handled that conversation. First, going around shaking everybody's hands, but then when they said, "Have you had an argument?" I like the way he handled it.
Yeah, I like how he handled it too. He said, "Yeah, they've had some of those, and you'd be crazy to not have something, at this point." And he's happy about how they handled it. I was still focused on the two brothers because I'm just looking at them. I'm thinking, I had to pause and kind of tilt my head to the side. I'm like, I don't know what's going on with this.
Why?
I just was. But I thought it was interesting that Alex wanted to hide the fact that they're engaged. Which I get, but I don't like. I'm like, you're going on the show.
Yeah.
You're an adult. If this is what you want to do, why not just go all out and do it? Why have to hide it and fake it? But I think Tim handled the whole thing well. And I think out of this whole episode, this was the most touching moment I ever saw. When him and the dad sitting there talking, and he reads the letter that he wrote him in the pods.
Yes.
That was a touching moment, man. I really loved it.
It really was. And, like you said, he read it. So the first time he said, he knows her dad's going to see it. But I like the fact that he brought back, hey, I read this to your daughter. Yeah. I want to read it to you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought I like that moment. I thought it was a great moment too. Definitely very touching. High Vibe says this was tearjerker for sure. I love when Tim read the letter. Indeed. Amazing. Everybody saying Tim was great. DJ H says, yeah, I teared up. By the way, yes, Miss B's, Alex and Tim, the red flag couple, they were. But ever since going over that death bridge, they seem to have turned the corner, and luckily it wasn't in the middle of that bridge.
Yeah.
Because they seem so much better. Look, Kessie, after that dad talk, I need them to make this work.
Yeah.
I've turned the corner on this couple. What the hell is going? Is this Game of Thrones where everything just turns around? I mean, like, what the hell?
It does. But
this is good.
Yeah, that was just a beautiful moment. That this needs to work. We need this to work.
You know, while we're having this moment of this red flag couple and saying, this is good, Nikki B reminds us, Alex constantly touching her hair is driving me crazy. I didn't think I noticed that. Did you notice it?
No, I didn't notice that, but I'm glad
women
Nikki B's here because I got some for her later.
Because Sharonda, this is like, I hate it too. Tehu, oh my God, me too. I'm like, damn. I didn't notice it. Obviously, it's a woman thing to see that. I didn't notice that at all. Next up, Taylor and Garrett. These two, they go to see her basement apartment, her empty fridge. Basically, you know, her bachelor pad.
Well, it's actually bigger than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Because at first, I was thinking, wow, this is really going to be a small spot that she's in. Her place doesn't look bad. Nothing in her refrigerator I thought was interesting because it did look like a bachelor
There was
pad.
wine.
There was alcohol, and that's it.
Yes.
And light.
At least there was light.
Yeah. Did you notice how she labels her closet? Like going out clothes, sweaters.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, she had little tape labels for stuff in her closet. I'm thinking, wow, that is a lot.
I did not notice that. Oh my God. But that's good. They have this conversation about going to San Diego too. How much she wants to move back there. And Garrett was kind of hesitant about it at first, right?
He was, because again, in the pods, we say everything that whatever's going to work.
Yeah.
And he seemed more open, excited about the San Diego thing. And now he's having to really think about it because he's always envisioned having kids, growing up around his family. Again, they eat together every Sunday, family Sunday dinner. Yeah. So if he moves to San Diego, all that's out the window.
Right.
But I think he's really open to the whole idea of moving. And I think that just goes to show how much he really cares for her, that he's willing to make that change and sacrifice for both of them.
By the way, Lovey says, if a man had beer in an empty fridge, that would be a red flag. So it's a double standard here that it wasn't a red flag for her having that empty fridge.
I said it was a red flag. So it looks like a bachelor pad. All you have is just wine or nothing else in your refrigerator. That's bad. And yes, if a guy had just had beer, nothing else in his refrigerator, that's a red flag too.
Yeah. Well, speaking of red flags, let's go back to one of these couples here. Monica and Steven. They go to a pressed flower workshop because Steven says, I can't just buy flowers after all of this. I got to do something bigger. So they go to a pressed flower workshop, and we find out some wonderful things here, like apparently Monica's dad. He also doesn't want to be on camera, but he says, I will walk you down the aisle. So at least there's some compromise.
There's some compromise in that. And the whole time, I'm just thinking Steven is just sitting there looking at Monica going, are you happy now?
Yes.
You see all these flowers? Are we good?
You know when she wasn't happy? When the woman picked Steven's over her design.
I get being a little competitive, but let that go. But Steven's, I did like his color patterns a little bit better than Monica's.
You know, one thing, I do want to point this out before we move on to the next part, the next time we see them. Because remember, Monica did point out, as they're talking about her dad, that her dad asked her, how do you know that Steven is not a liar like the other guys you've dated? And this
I'm not getting liar vibes.
I wasn't either. The next time we see them, though, we found out Steven lost his job.
All right, so I got to call BS on this one.
Wait, you just said you didn't get liar vibes.
I'm calling BS on this one because I didn't get liar vibes until like this. So he's a blue collar guy, right? Electrician or something like that. And you're telling me that you went back to the job site after you've been gone for 2 weeks in the pod, 1 week in Mexico. So you've been gone for 3 weeks. And then come back, hey, I still have a job, right? And they're like, yeah, no, you don't. At first, when that part came up, I was thinking, well, maybe he's in a union environment. What if the union went on strike? But if the union went on strike, he would still get paid. So I don't think he had a job. I think he went through this whole process, sight unseen, and just winged it.
You're not the only person that thinks that, because Shante says he was unemployed before he left. Dime Diva says, are we sure? Or did he ever have a job? Nikki B says, Steven didn't have a job to start. Jay Noel says, Steven was honest. He said, I cheated in pods. He showed himself, but Monica was so desperate, she just says, I'm obsessed. So is that the thing with the job now? Because if he was honest, but a lot of people are not believing that he was honest about this job thing.
I don't believe it. I don't believe he had a job, but that's fine. Monica's going to be a trooper. She said, hey, I got your back. But I'm wondering how long would she be willing to do that?
Not long, because she's thinking, okay, for right now, right? Because she said, I'll be your sugar mama or your baby mama. And then he takes it to a whole nother level. Well, I have no problem, just being your sex slave. You come in and say, drop him. I'll drop him. Just like, he took it so far, so many times, even like when she says one of the things, that sex is great, but, the butt pokes. And he's like, oh, you mean like pegging? Like, he just takes it to extremes every single time, to the point that she even says, this was so fun 2 minutes ago.
Well, did you catch that? She said that they've had great sex, but once he started saying he was having doubts,
yes,
that's when she's pulled back from having sex with him.
Yes. And are you surprised?
Well, no, but I mean, just the stuff that came out of his mouth after that.
Yeah.
That, the whole, butt stuff thing. And he says you can put your thing into so many things. A pineapple, a bowl of mac and cheese. I'm thinking, what are you doing, man? This guy is on a whole nother level of weird.
Steven has issues.
Yeah, it's just a whole nother level of weird. I just don't get I don't get him.
Yo, Kessie says it's like talking to a horny dog. Yes.
Yeah. And then did you hear how he said that he would love to have a female part? And he said that women giving birth is the only thing that comes close to a man having a cold.
That was a joke. I get
it, but that's a joke you don't make. That's a joke you don't make on Netflix, where that's going to follow you. You don't say stupid stuff like that. That's crazy.
Okay. We can't talk about the stupid stuff that he said and not talk about like High Vibe said. Then she says, I have to save my butt for my husband. Ma'am.
Yes. Which is crazy to me.
Happy birthday, honey.
You will do all this other stuff for every other guy, but only this part is sacred to the man that you marry. That's just crazy.
Tehu says she wasn't lying. Oh my God. Now, here's the thing. When you get back to them a little later in the episode, I thought, damn it, what happened? What happened with Taylor and Garrett? Is it this damn San Diego? Is it the fireworks conversation? What happened here? And why is Monica consoling Oh, wait, no, it's the other way around. What the hell happened?
Yeah, it's Monica and Steven, and this thing blew my mind, right? And so I'm trying to understand what happened, because she's talking about these text messages, and I'm thinking, where's this coming from?
Yeah.
What happened? And then she says that, well, he went to a sleep test. He didn't come back last night. Then we find out a little bit more detail that he was sending some really inappropriate texts, having an inappropriate text exchange, let's just say with someone. He just wasn't sending, having a very inappropriate text exchange. When Monica's confronting him about it, he says that he was at this sleep test and then got drunk and drunk texted somebody, which I thought to myself, wait a minute. How many sleep studies and sleep tests serve alcohol? I was like, it sounds to me like you got nightgowned. And I'm like, High Vibe, do you have not High Vibe, Nikki B, do you have a side hustle where doing these sleep tests and people get nightgowned? Because I think Steven got nightgowned.
Because he didn't come back that night. So yeah, that's a problem, right? I mean, You've done a number of things, right? You do the man-eater patty, jumped out of a plane. You've done massages. I'm sure you've probably done acupuncture at least one time or not. Yes, I know that. You would try the crazy stuff. Have you ever had a sleep test and had to stay the whole night?
Well, yes, but that's not what we called it back in the day. We didn't call it a sleep test. Maybe that's some new thing, but we just called that a sleepover and hooking up.
It's a modern sleep test. How fast do you fall asleep after getting nightgowned?
I don't know. Nikki B, you tell us. What's the record? Is it how quickly you fall asleep determines how good the nightgowning was?
Uh-huh.
Is that it?
Now, Lisa says sleep tests are overnight, but you can do it from home now. Holly Won't says his sleep test was at a brothel.
The sleep test was somewhere, but that whole thing was odd. And I love how Monica just confronted him. And she said, well, because he tried to say that it was just that night, the drunk test. She goes, no, you were texting all day today. Which, again, I'm wondering, how did she see the text?
Yeah.
How did she see all these? And then she's like, well, show me your phone. Oh, I deleted them.
Oh, you know how she saw it. He went to the bathroom. She picked up the phone and went through it. That's how she saw them.
This is why you don't share passwords. We talked about that. This is why you don't
bet
share
you he
passwords.
didn't share it. She's an observant woman. And if you notice, she's always looking. Whether side eye or not, she's probably seen him put that code in a time or two. Now,
maybe he was asleep and she put the phone over, opened up his eyes.
Yeah.
Put the phone to unlock it.
Tehu says Monica needs to take a trip to the clinic for a checkup. Here's the thing. I like how, as they're having the conversation, because Taylor leaves, Steven comes out, he sits down. I'm like, okay, how's this conversation going to go, right? And she says, stop acting. Stop telling me I'm right. She's like, you're right. She's like, stop telling me I'm right. I know that. Why did you do this? Why did you come here?
Mm-hmm.
And I like this because she's having these direct conversations with him and asking direct questions, right? Steven goes ahead and takes responsibility, says he's packing his stuff, he's leaving. And Monica says, hold up. Wait a minute. Before you walk out, I need you to do something.
She wanted her money back.
Yep.
Pay me, fool. She needed her money back right meow.
Now, Tommy put this in early on. Thank you very much for the super chat. He says, I can't believe Monica asked for her money back. I don't feel bad for her. She did it to herself. She didn't listen to the red flags. Do you agree? Because she asked for the money back and be like, hey, I get it. I carried you over this last week. Give me my money back and get to stepping.
But this is what's bad. If you lost your job right now and then your partner has to help you immediately, your money situation was already bad.
Yeah.
Beforehand. So how does she have to help him? So she's really not paying attention. And I think that I give credit to Monica because I think Monica knew Steven is not her norm, but dating her norm hasn't worked, which is why you're doing Love is Blind. So I respect her for going through that because he didn't go to a particular college or prestigious college. He doesn't have this awesome job with a special title that she's used to. So I applaud her for trying, but maybe you got to stick to the things that you know.
Live crew, y'all ain't shit. Better have my money.
Well, here's what I don't like is we got to stop doing this. Because somebody cheats, we just assume they have a sex addiction. That's what guys say to get out of trying to, when they get caught.
Yep.
Well, I'm addicted. He's not addicted. For whatever reason, he was doing what he was doing.
Yeah.
Maybe
Indeed.
he didn't like Monica's stuff, right?
Maybe
I like
her mac and
lasagna,
cheese
but if
wasn't
you make
mac
it
and
bad,
cheese.
yeah, I like lasagna, but you make it bad, I'm going to go somewhere else and get it.
Now, here's the other thing. Steven apologizes, says he shouldn't have come on the show, and Monica calls it a very selfish thing to say. And Sherry D says, I didn't like that he said I shouldn't have done the experiment, instead of saying I shouldn't have done this to you.
Agreed. Agreed, because that's it. Just I should have come on the show. It's selfish. He's thinking about himself.
Right.
He really did a number on Monica, and publicly. Mm-hmm. Like that has to hurt.
So here's the one thing I thought about this, right? At least he didn't try to justify his actions. He didn't try to stay there. Or maybe should he have tried to stay? Because isn't it always like, well, you got to fight for me. Should he have fought for her?
Not when you get caught like that. That's dumb. I mean, you can't. There's nothing you can say. Mm-hmm. That's gonna fix that. Just say, hey, you know what? You're right. I'm a piece of crap. I messed up, and leave. But
J. Noel says Monica was heartbroken because of embarrassment, not because she loved him. Well, she said she loved him quite a bit. But J. Noel also
love
says,
you.
I didn't feel bad for her, to be honest. She led with sex, held her body over his head. He even liked that part probably. Kissed him to get her way. Took it all back because of flowers. No, she took it all back because of doubt.
Yeah. I bet after that conversation, Stephen was probably thinking to himself, I should have bought you flowers. Held your hand.
Yeah. He probably was. Dive Diva says he needed to go. And he did. Taylor and Garrett go to console Monica. And before we get to episode 9, and I noticed this in the chat, in the live chat, people are like, hey, I love how Taylor and Garrett were there for Monica. And I agree. But I noticed something. Please tell me you saw it too, Terrell. Please tell me you saw this. Because I know I'm not the only one.
Are you referring to when Garrett kind of hugged her knees and put his head in her legs?
Yes.
I thought Taylor was going to just kind of just stiff arm him real quick.
I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I did see that because I would be like, Garrett, I wouldn't have done all that. I just hand on the shoulder be like, oh, it's okay, baby girl.
Right.
You'll be all right. But, yeah.
Yeah, Sherry saw it. Lisa saw it. DJ H says Garrett kissed her knees. It did kind of look like that. Dorica says, yo, I thought it was just me. Yo, for real, because I was like, wait, did I? Let me rewind that just real quick, because what the hell did I just see?
Yeah, I was like, it's nice, I get it, but I was just like, I wouldn't have done that, Garrett. Just you got to keep a little bit of separation.
However,
between all that,
she likes to tweet. Says, hey, Garrett has never had chocolate before. You just moved my stuff, didn't you?
Oh, I'm sorry, I did, because I just wanted to tell she likes to tweet. Love you.
If you say it one more time.
Love you.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, enough of these two, man. Oh, my God. So much to go into with them. But, we get to episode 9, and there's a lot to get to in this. So let's get moving. Because we're going to pick up with Negate guy right here and his girl, Taylor. Taylor and Garrett. Because they're at dinner and Taylor's gushing over Garrett and the way he handled the situation.
Yeah.
Apparently, she didn't see him hugging and kissing on the knee. She was just like, well, she needs it. But she liked the way he handled the situation. And he got points, and she said that was so hot.
So hot. Everybody needs a Garrett.
Did you notice that when he said, well, everybody needs a Taylor, I need my Taylor, but her jokes went to Taylor Swift style.
Well.
As opposed to her, Taylor.
Yeah, she kind of dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah, she did. We also find out that Taylor's mom has really been emailing and having conversations with Garrett about how quick this process is, and really trying to sow seeds of doubt in his mind, it feels like.
I think you're talking about Garrett's mom.
Garrett's mom, yeah.
Yeah, you said Taylor's. Yeah, sorry.
I said it wrong. You're absolutely right. For once.
Thank you. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. Well, and I thought it was interesting. It was pretty delicate how he said that, because he said he's struggling telling her what his parents have been saying, because it's not targeted at her. But he can see how she may think that. But they do have some concerns, which is very valid for any parent to have. And then the whole moving to San Diego thing, of course, his family has a lot of reservations around that.
Now, Shantae says, I knew Garrett's mother was going to be a problem. I said that too. When saw her standing in the kitchen, the way she was looking, I was like, that's either her face or that's just her thought process coming through, right? This is LOD says, Garrett overshares what his family talks about with him. But if this is the woman you're going to marry, you should share these things. And Taylor has no problem with it. She's like, look, I want you to have these conversations.
Right.
She's like, I don't want you to feel like you can't have these conversations with him. Have those conversations. Because she wants to know that he's sure about her anyway. Right?
Yes.
What? What did you see down here?
I'm sorry. I'm just laughing at this. How far is Kelly from D.C.? Oh, man. It's far. Let's just say that. It's far.
I don't think it was an actual question, but okay.
I know, but I'm just laughing because I'm like, oh, maybe you can make this work. I'm like, that's a long flight.
Here's the thing about this. Here's what I like about what Garrett says. Garrett says he makes his own decisions. It doesn't matter what his parents think. If they're not cool with it, he's going to go down the aisle and he's going to say yes, he's in. But he knows at the same time that Taylor's dad's approval is important to her.
Right.
And that's what makes him nervous. What if her dad does not give them his blessings?
Right. And that's something that anybody would be concerned with. Mm-hmm. Especially any guy would be concerned with when you're trying to ask someone's dad for their daughter's hand in marriage. Mm-hmm. So it's valid. Hopefully they get a chance to meet him and they can build a relationship and realize he's not that bad.
Yeah. We get to meet some of Taylor's friends. And one of them even bought a fish from South Africa for Garrett. It's nice, right?
I thought that was really nice because they paid attention. Her friends seemed really excited about meeting Garrett. And I also like the fact that her friends kind of called out that they're worried that Garrett may be making more changes than he's ready for. Because it's great to say that you'll move to San Diego and all those things, but that's still a lot of change. But for it to actually happen. And Garrett responded really well, saying that before he met Taylor, he never would have moved to San Diego with anyone. But he said Taylor's worth it. So I'm like, good points. Good job, Garrett.
I did notice that while Garrett is gushing over how willing he is to change his life for Taylor, her friends noticed that they've never seen Taylor this way. Look at Amanda the way she's looking at Garrett. Mm-hmm. Hugging on him, holding his hand, all this stuff. They're like, who is this woman?
Well, they finally see her happy and in love with somebody. Mm-hmm. I think it's a win.
Now, before we get away from Taylor and Garrett, your question that you laughed at, that you popped up there, how far is Cali in D.C., apparently is from one of our people that's not in the States. So it's a valid question, right? And the answers came in, imagine Vancouver to Montreal, right? Or Toronto to Vancouver. So obviously a lot of Canada references for those who would know. Or I like a sum to bees to like flying to the UK, but you can drive.
That's a good, accurate way to describe it, because that is a long drive.
That is all I can think about is driving over the Atlantic Ocean. So okay, yes, it's a good one. Y'all off the chain of this live chat, man. Hey, do us a favor, hit that like button while you're in here. If you're on the replay gang, please hit that like button as well too. Okay. Next couple up, let's talk about Hannah and Nick as. We realize, or as I call him, non-pasta cooking Nick, because he has no idea how to cook pasta or anything really. Half full, 3/4 full. Is this enough? What do I do? Do I turn the heat on low, medium?
And I couldn't tell because I wanted to think he was joking, but I really think he doesn't know how to boil pasta. I mean, it doesn't matter. Just boil the water, boil the pasta, and then when it gets al dente. Then the pasta's ready when it's al dente. I was just so surprised. And he seems like a guy whose mommy has taken care of him his whole life. And apparently that's the case.
Jen says, "Oh my God, Nick's questions were exhausting." Absolutely. And yo, Sherry says, "I'm mad he looked in the fridge first. I don't see the pasta." I missed that part. I'm not gonna lie. Oh my God! But look, Hannah's brother comes over, Cade, for a visit. What'd you take away from this visit?
That Cade also thinks his sister can be kind of mean.
Well, he's just pointing out the obvious.
Yeah, he's just pointing out the obvious.
He's like, I like how he's like, "Hey, I don't want you to think I was upset about that. You ain't got a job comment."
Yeah. I think Cade asked Nick what he thought Hannah looked like, and he said he didn't care what she looked like. And he said he likes how Hannah speaks her mind, and that he needs that, which that's the part about Nick I don't like. But then for Hannah to kind of to say Nick is upset because she makes more money than him, but she's unemployed. I don't understand that.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
Like, why even bring that up?
Yeah, but again,
on TV,
it's known.
Yeah.
And if not, the internet salutes, as we'll find out. We'll find out anyway. They get to meet Hannah's parents, and they keep saying that marriages work. That's one of the things I noticed, right?
Yeah.
But when Nick leaves to go get her brother his hat, strategically done, by the way, Hannah says she loves Nick to her parents, but there's some things about him, and her dad cuts off and goes, "Well, Hannah, if that was the case, we'd have thrown you out a long time ago." And I went, now there's a guy I can have a drink with. He tells it like it is until he tells it like he thought it was.
Yeah. I think that was spot on because Hannah, I just don't like her attitude. I just don't like her personality. But they called her out, said, "Hey, you're nitpicking over little things."
Yeah.
And even her mom said that she didn't like her dad at first.
Yeah.
You know, but they focus on things that really matter in a relationship, not like the little stuff that she's nitpicking. Now, she's picking on some big things. Don't get me wrong, because Nick doesn't know how to do anything. He needs a mommy.
Yeah.
And she might not be ready for that job.
Yeah. No, indeed. Well, you know, they say you got to decide whether you want to live what you want to live with or not. Something I've always told you that marriage is about, right? Can you deal with the things you don't like? At least her mom could deal with somebody who smacks when at you. I couldn't. So, yeah, that wouldn't have worked. We get to meet Nick's parents. Did you know Nick was Cuban?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
I did
never
not.
brought it up. Yeah. Nick's mom admits that she pampered and babied Nick, and she doesn't regret any of it. So this is all her fault.
She did, but what she focused on is that they made a lot of memories together. That she was at every game, she was involved in all these different things, which is great. But the problem is you have a man-child in Nick who's 28, living in your basement, can't boil pasta, doesn't know how to take care of himself. And that's what you get. And then we find out that Nick's dad was the same. Nick Sr. says that when he met his mom, she pushed him to grow and says he sees the same in Hannah. I don't think you need to find somebody to teach your son how to grow up and be an adult, be a man.
It all makes sense now when Hannah's like, "Oh, I've taught him a lot." Because I thought she was just being an arrogant ass.
Yeah.
Apparently, she's been teaching him a lot.
Yeah.
To be fair,
Hannah, I stand corrected.
Yeah.
Stuff I said about you in episodes 1 through 6. I mean, some stuff is still true. Don't get me wrong. Hannah, camera 1. Some stuff is still true. But I was wrong about the things you were saying about Nick. Because Nick's a man-child.
A man-child. Alex and Tim, they go to see each other's places. They go to the modern man cave, which I knew you would like, and they went to the pigsty, which I knew you would not like.
Tim's place was dope. I thought his place was really nice. There's a lot of thought in how he had it set up. Mine is nowhere near that because Tim just has a lot of stuff in his place, and I'm a minimalist. But I thought his house was really nice.
Yeah.
I was extremely disappointed to see Alex's place. Her apartment is disgusting. Like, she is gross and lazy. I mean, that is just ridiculous. How do you invite a camera crew to your house?
Right.
To see that? I mean, that's the thing that tells me a lot about her.
Like,
that
go over there
this
and
is
clean
probably
up first.
picked up
Yes.
It's probably worse
Yeah.
when the cameras aren't around. Her place is atrocious.
Absolutely. Because you could have easily gone over, cleaned up before, because you know when you're going to shoot. You have
Right.
time. So, absolutely right. Terrible place, man. Next up, Marissa and Ramses. Ramses is nervous, and we soon find out why he should be when we meet Marissa's mom, Vanessa, right?
Vanessa, or as I like to call her, Alice Cooper. She looks like Alice Cooper to me.
She does. Tongue ring and all.
Yeah,
I didn't even
she looks
notice
like
the tongue
Alice
ring until she
Cooper.
kept talking. I was like, there's no way this. No, she does. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, she is something else.
Well, you call her Alice Cooper. I'll call her Tupac because apparently she got around.
Okay, if I'm not mistaken, does she have 4 kids by 4 different people?
How many people make up a volleyball team?
I don't know. I mean, the way
Because
they...
if it's 6, then you got the 4 daddies on that side and the 2 daddies on Ramsey's side.
Yeah, it was just odd because I couldn't figure that out. Because the kids were saying like all of our dads. And so I'm looking at her, I'm thinking, okay, you were Mormon, you were this. I just don't get it. But end of the day, it brought Marissa here. Her mom, though, I liked. Because her mom is a straight shooter, calls Ramses out on his stuff. And the first thing that she says is, I'm not feeling your style, the 80s breakdancing thing. And I think her brother said he looks like El DeBarge. I was like, yes! Yes!
She's like, no, I'm not getting that. High Vibe says Vanessa is a washed up Sheila E.
Ooh, I see it. I see it now.
That's why I paused for a second. Let that sink in for a second.
I see it now because I'm looking at dun, 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 dun.
Yo, I love that she called him out for the 80s. You're absolutely right. I thought it was just like, because it's all the things we said. If she said ready for the world, I probably would have kicked my TV over.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's all I'm going to say. But she's all about education and longevity, and she doesn't want Ramses relying on Marissa's law degree and money that she doesn't have either of yet.
Well, here's what was interesting because she's looking at Ramses just like he's just full of crap. Anything he says is crap. And she asks about his career and what he got his degree in. And then he says that he didn't finish school and goes into the story about his dad dying. Now, here's what I've realized. When people give you that extra information, they're lying. All you got to do is say, well, I didn't finish college. Done. You don't have to give an explanation. Just say I didn't finish college. But when you got to, well, I didn't finish college because see what had happened was, now you're lying. You're adding extra info that somebody doesn't need. And I think her mom picked up on all that.
She did because remember when, well, like I told, I don't know if she told you, but I was previously married. Oh, what happened? Well, well, marriage can be some work sometimes. And she's like, really? You're explaining marriage to me, the queen of marriages. Yo, she held nothing back, right? And then here's where, and I know this is LOD was like, you liked her? This is the moment I liked Vanessa. It wasn't very many times besides the 80s and this moment. Because Ramses is telling the whole story about how he did this and she's like, so was it mutual? Well, yeah, it was mutual. Because you're making yourself sound like a saint right now. And I was like, absolutely right. She called him out. You can't BS her.
Exactly. And this is why I think Ramses is full of crap. Because to me, it's clear. I liked him in the beginning, but now we get into episode 7, 8, 9. I feel like my BS meter is going off on him. And I just think he's full of crap. And I think Vanessa can tell. Now, it's unfortunate that Vanessa sounds so jaded on love.
Yes.
Now, I get it.
Very.
You've tried it 4 or 5 times and you've had 4 or 5 kids from it and it didn't work out. And you struggled. I get why you might feel that way, but don't be so jaded that you try to make love sound bad for everybody else.
You said marriage is not forever.
Yeah,
Maybe
no, it's
5
not forever.
years.
I don't believe marriage forever.
15
yeah.
years. That's about it.
Maybe for you it's been every 5 years you get dropped, but it doesn't mean everybody's marriage is that way. So she's very bitter and unhappy.
Yeah. It's funny you said bitter because Kessie says bitter Betty. Dime Diva says she was a bitter Betty when it comes to relationships. Yeah, it really was. So, yeah.
Well,
by the way, Mimi points out in the pods, Ramses told Marissa it was mutual, so I don't know why he came with the BS now.
I don't know that either. You know, I don't know why he did that either.
Vanessa called him out.
Yeah. And then I like how This Is a Lodi says that I agree that marriage isn't always forever. Nothing is forever. Mm-hmm. You die.
Yeah.
You're not married. Mm-hmm. You die. You don't get a divorce.
Mm-hmm. Well, in the eyes of the Lord.
We'll have to ask Ashley and Tyler about the eyes of the Lord.
Yeah, we're about to get to them in a minute. But it's funny about the whole thing, and she wants Ramses to do a prenup, and he's fine with the prenup.
Yeah.
But Marissa's like, no, I'm not. No. I'm not. You don't decide that for me. But even Vanessa calling her own daughter a B is kind of wild.
She's out there, and if I was Ramses, I would say no at the altar, just because of Marissa's mom. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't want to be around that type of negative energy ever. So
okay, here's the thing. To your point, Kyra says at least Ramses didn't seem terrified of her. And do you want to know why? Because when they went back to the apartment, and I think that went well. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. You think it's going to go that well with your parents? No. Ramses has seen some shit.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, that's nothing. That's nothing. I can handle that anytime. That's nothing.
I can't wait to meet his mom and see what that's like and be able to compare the two.
Yeah.
But, you know, they have that conversation. And again, he said that he's fine with the prenup thing if that's what she wants to do. But I'm still shaky on this couple because Marissa asked if he's going to say no at the altar. And he said he's still locked in, which I'm thinking to myself, are you really? After meeting her mom, you're telling me you're 100% still locked in?
He says he is, but then when they start talking kids and timelines, that's when things go left, right?
Yeah.
And it's the whole, he wants 3 to 5 years, but he really wants to say 5 years. But she's like, how about 2.5? He's like, minimum 3 years. Like he's stuck on the 3, right? It's got to be that. And she's like, but I don't want to get back on birth control. And this is where the second disagreement comes in. And apparently they've been raw dogging it from day one. In Mexico.
Possibly so.
No, not possibly, obviously. Because he doesn't understand what a plastic bag does.
Well, he said that he doesn't want her to, because she said she doesn't get birth control. He said, I don't want her to do that if it impacts her health. Because for some women, getting on birth control is not as just easy as getting on a pill or, was it IUD or whatever it is. But he jokingly says he would wear a condom and then acts like he wouldn't want to do that when she was like, great, yeah, you can wear a condom. Now all of a sudden it's a problem.
Yeah. Because that's not what he meant. He said that that was him pouting. That was him going, all right, well, I'll wear it. Because here's the thing, and Mimi puts this perfectly. He's fine with her mom, but protected sex is where he draws the line, or as they like to call it, condom sex. I didn't know it was such a thing.
Well, but if you look at her mom, you would think that Marissa is also a fertile myrtle, that you got to be careful, because you could have a bunch of kids in 3 years before you're ready for them. So I agree with Marissa that we should have birth control or a condom, because her history shows her family can produce some babies.
Mrs. Pink Marie 77 says he doesn't want kids, but he doesn't want to wear a hat. Yeah, so it's the thing that he's a man, and as a man, it's not our responsibility.
Why are you talking like that? He's a man. So
I'm just saying, it's the craziest thing, right? Because he's like, yeah, I don't want to wear a condom, I don't want kids, so you get on birth control. And I never thought about that thought process, though. Somebody said in our live chat one time, it's so much easier for a man to get a vasectomy than it is for a woman to do the other stuff. And why isn't it not that way? As opposed to why is it always the other way? And the obvious reason is the world is run by men, and that's why.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's what, yeah. Just accept it, ladies. Get it fixed. Joking.
See, that's what got Steven in trouble.
I'm joking.
Very noteworthy here. Ramses says condom sex is not enjoyable, and he needs the sex to be enjoyable. Marissa says some of her best sex has been on condom sex, which means, Ramses, it wasn't with you.
Yeah. Well, they have been using condoms, so that's why. But here's what's very interesting is that I like how Marissa said, look, we can either get on birth control or we can not and just accept the consequences of what could happen. Where she's saying, look, I love you enough. If we wind up getting pregnant, well, great. We're just going to have a baby earlier than what we planned. And I agree with that thought process. I don't think she should have to be the one to get on birth control. I think Ramses either man up and wear condoms or figure something else out.
Before we move on from them onto the praying mantis, this is LOD says, unpopular opinion, but Ramses isn't wrong on his take. Does the birth control negatively affect her, or she just doesn't want to take it? There's non-hormonal birth control. He could also offer to get snipped and reattached.
Like, he can actually take control and do something on his end that she doesn't have to do anything, whether it involves her hormones or not. She could not make a change. He can get a vasectomy, or he can just wear a condom.
But it's not enjoyable.
No, well.
He's like, no, it's always enjoyable over here.
Maybe she just needs to pull on the braid and he'll get a little feeling out of it. Get his hair pulled. He might like it.
That's what they're actually there for.
That's what they're there for. Choo-choo!
Ashley and Tyler, they're talking about kids, and it starts off with 7. And we didn't realize how significant that number was until today. But go ahead.
Yeah, he says he wants at least 7 kids. And she's like, nope, they're trying to negotiate, and they settle on 2. But the thing is, she wants to have a girl. So if she winds up having 2 boys, then she'll have another to hopefully have a girl.
Right. And she says she has some unique names, but doesn't want to reveal them on the show, which I you don't want anybody else to take the names. But I'm just questioning, what names could they be?
I don't know. I mean, their names are pretty basic, Ashley and Tyler. But she doesn't
like her name.
Okay, but she doesn't like it. I don't know what other name she's going to go with.
And if we ever get a chance to talk to her, what are those baby names you have? Can you give us a hint as to one? And how unique are they?
Yeah, and how you spell it?
If
it's Ladasha.
Aaron.
Yeah. This is my son Quantavius.
And my daughter Talakamisha. Gotta be careful out here. All right. Next time we see them, man, I'm really wondering, how the hell did we get here? You can see the weight of this moment, right? You can see it on Ashley's face. And when you look at Tyler, you can see anger, hurt, pain. But is he angry at himself, or is he angry at the situation?
This thing blew my mind here, because this awesome praying man that everybody liked has some skeletons in the closet. Apparently 3 of them. 2 boys, 2 girls, and a boy.
2 girls and a boy.
So apparently he already has kids that he's never mentioned Ashley before. And he said he helped a couple have kids, but what does that mean? Because it's one thing to say I helped someone, I was a donor, and I helped someone have a kid. You told me your helper couple had 3 kids?
Mm-hmm.
That seems odd. And then you've been talking about kids all throughout the pods and everything else, and you never brought any of this stuff up?
Mrs. Pink Marie, my heart was broken too on this one, man. This was my pick. This was my couple. This was it, right? And the question I have, though, because thing that she brought up is someone you knew. Is that the big issue? That it's someone he knew? Was that the problem?
Well, it is a problem because if it's someone you knew, is it someone that you see regularly? And if we get married, am I going to see this person regularly? And then if we get married and we have kids, are my kids going to see this person and their kids, which is their half siblings? It's just messy. And if that's the case, if it was no big deal, why did you not bring it up earlier?
That's the problem and that's what she says. Her issue is not with the kids, but in not getting the full picture because now you question everything. I will say, Tyler said he's not asking for forgiveness. He's asking for a chance, and he'll get her whatever she needs to feel comfortable. He says, I'll fight for you until you tell me to stop fighting. And in this moment, I went, if this was, scripted TV, this would be a great acting scene, right? Because you could feel the pain in this scene. Even when he scoots up to hug her, and she hugs him back, and she gives him that deep hug. He says, I love you. She goes, I love you too. And it was that I love you more than anything, but I can't trust you kind of hug that she gave, right? You felt that.
It reminded me of, what's that one couple years ago that the guy gives all that man advice and dating advice, and he had his wife come on with the bonnet because he got caught cheating. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Oh my God, Life Me got me now. I can't remember.
Yeah, I feel like that's this deal with Ashley and Tyler, where Tyler knows he's busted. And he's trying to say all these things because that's what guys like this do. They say all the right things in the right moment.
Derek Jackson.
It was Derek Jackson. If it was not that big a deal, you would have said this to Ashley a long time ago. You're hiding something and you've been lying.
To which she likes to tweet, says, why is it always the praying good men or the praying mantis that have the worst lies to hide? Because, full disclosure, we got the content so we were able to watch it in advance. This morning, Terrell sends me this TikTok from the internet sleuths who have uncovered all the things that Mr. Tyler's been up to. And what really happened? What did you send me? What is this?
So, I don't know who this woman is, but she has all the tea. So apparently, the kid's mom, Tyler's kid's mom, her Instagram is pretty public. And so there's pictures of Tyler with the kids, going to the pumpkin patch with the kids, matching pajamas on Christmas. It's like he's in their lives. It's not that he just donated sperm and that's it. He's actually in their lives, right?
Matching PJs and all at Christmas.
Exactly. I mean, he's doing all this stuff. His mom is posting on her Instagram, which is also public, that, oh, my grandson looks so handsome and da-da-da. So you're really lying. And then, of course, they find that he owes like $30,000 in child support because these child support things are public record. So people have found that he owes a lot of money for child support. So if you're not involved and you're just the donor, why do you owe child support? And back to someone else's comment, it's not about the praying good men. It's just they assume that any man who prays is a good man. But you got to check. There are certain people who pray, P-R-A-Y, and there's certain people who pray, P-R-E-Y. You got to know the difference.
I see what you did there. All right, preach. Pastor Terrell. Oh, should we pass the collection plate around? Can I get a super chat? Can I get a super chat here?
Yes, that was good.
Tara G says hiding children, huge red flags. Absolutely right. I mean, because this was nuts to see. And when there are paper trails, the internet sleuths will find it.
Yep.
This is wild. Because here's the funny thing. My wife says to me earlier today, wait, Tyler owes back child support? I was like, no. Wait till you see the episode. Watch episode 9. They are surrogates. She's like, okay.
Yeah.
So apparently she saw it before, because you sent it to me this morning, and I didn't get to it till this afternoon. It's been a long, busy day. We got a lot going on this weekend, so it's been a long day, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't see it, but I saw it. I'm like, jaw on the ground, like, what the hell happened to my Tiffany and Brett? Or as like was said earlier in the live chat, there'll never be another Tiffany or Brett. And High Vibe says, you're preaching good, Pastor Terrell.
Well, I'm just calling it like it is. I mean, because every time there's always somebody who they're really religious, and people think that this person's a good man because they pray. And no, every guy that prays is not a good dude. So keep that in mind. But the thing that bothers me the most is that if you're going to have these pictures of you being around your kids, you're in their lives. Then you're going to scrub your Instagram of those kids and just call them a donor on national TV. That when they get older, they can look this up and hear you call them that you were just a donor. I've had one person I've briefly dated told me she had one kid and he was in college. Couldn't find out she had 4 kids, and a lot of them at home, young ones. And as soon as I found that lie out, I was like, I was done. There was not a thing she could say to me that make me be interested in her, because you lied about your kids. Who does that?
Man, it's the reason when people always said to us coming up, well, why don't you have kids, right? Because they got to grow up in our house. For me, my child's always got to grow up in my house, right? For you, and I'm sure the same for you. It's like you don't want the baby mamas running around, right? And it's in that sense, but you're not gonna go ahead and just no longer have kids. You can't have kids today and then tomorrow they're gone. That's not how this works. Kelly says, oh my God, I was just going to message a defense for Tyler. I was thinking maybe there's more to the story and he doesn't see them. Dang, this is not good. Poor Ashley. I had to highlight this because I was feeling that like, oh, yeah, but he knows the people. But, I didn't even think gay couple. I just said, oh, he knows the people. They couldn't have kids. He helped them out. That's what it is. He probably has no involvement, but you don't get back child support,
right?
If there's no involvement,
right? And there's no involvement means you're not sitting around wearing matching PJs on Christmas. That's involvement.
Toya C says you'd be surprised how many men lie about kids.
No, I'm not surprised. It's unfortunate, but I'm not surprised.
Lies on top of lies, man. It's a lot, man. This was a lot to find out, and we really thought, this was gonna be the couple. I have no idea what to think what's gonna happen from here on out, because this is about to be a little different.
Well, I have no idea either, but one thing that we do know is Monica and Steven are out, and if these two get married, if Tyler and Ashley get married, there's going to be a lot of people with some side eye looking at Ashley.
Yes. And the reunion's going to be off the chain because I think they just shot that. Whew, oh my God. By the way, as we wipe our hands of episodes 7, 8, and 9 and get ready for 10 and 11, and oh man, it's a whole lot about to happen because next week, Married at First Sight begins. Next Tuesday.
Is it next week?
Next Tuesday.
Yeah,
they already had the matchmaking special. We just didn't do it this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, next Tuesday because they moved the day from Wednesday to Tuesday. So that's next Tuesday. And in the meantime, she likes to tweet. She's going to get a puppy and name the first puppy Aladante.
Aladante.
That may be one of the names I actually had for the kids, Aladante. And Marissa already took it. So look, we are back again next week. So we're going to have a couple here because we're going to have Married at First Sight. Probably Wednesday, right?
Next week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably Wednesday. Then Thursday, Thursday or Friday, we'll do the Love Is Blind. Yeah, this is good.
Because we got 2 episodes next week of Love Is Blind that we got to do, and then Married First Sight. Yeah, I think we can do Wednesday, Thursday, knock out Love Is Blind.
By the way, as we get out of here, She Likes to Tweet says he could have made it all better if he just said,
"Love you,"
like Terrell. KSC absolutely right. Ashley's dad is going to send the mob after Tyler. That's his only daughter, damn it. His one and only daughter. Whew. Damn. Okay. All right. Look, man. If you're here, do us a favor. Hit that like button.
Yeah.
I knew it happened, but it's still shocking to me, man. It really hurts. Hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications so you know when we go live. Yes, Married at First Sight next week, Love Is Blind next week, and more stuff to go. And if they ever release Married at First Sight UK, we'll be back up. We'll be on that too when they finally give it to us over here in the US, okay? Hey, I'm Yanni Rude.
And I'm just Terrell.
Make sure you follow us at Yanni Rude, at Just Terrell, and at the RGRT Pod.
Yeah, send us some of your random thoughts, some of the bullshit you find on the internet. We'll talk about it on the show.
It's the Regular Guys Random Thoughts Podcast. Cheers.
Love you.
I knew you were going to do it. See, I knew it. I knew it.